Welcome to Heart and Hustle, where passion fuels progress. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jeff Beckham, host of Heart and Hustle. And today we have another powerful episode. We're sitting down with someone who really needs no introduction. Like, she is amazing. She's a visionary who blends corporate leadership, community activism, and artistic curation, Karimah. With a background in political science and economics from the HU, a leadership role at Google, and a deep commitment to cultural empowerment, Karimah is transforming the art scene one canvas at a time in Atlanta. As the owner of Buckhead Art Company, she's turned the gallery into a sanctuary of joy and a platform for the unrepresented voices in the community. In this episode, we're going to dive into her journey from tech to art, her advocacy work, and how she's using creativity to really reshape communities. Karimah, what is going on? How are you feeling?
Hey, how are you? I'm great. I'm excited to be here and talk about art, dope scene, Atlanta, the A, and of course, Howard.
Now, look, you had a very impressive career in tech at Google before acquiring Buckhead Art Company. What inspired you to transition from corporate leadership to the art world?
Yeah, so one of the things and the reason why I even got into tech was that there were a lot of underrepresented voices and it was a very impactful field. And like tech, art is a space where a lot of underrepresented individuals don't always have a voice, don't always have a platform to speak, and don't always get in front of the people who have the disposable income and to invest in the work that they do. And so for me, having an executive HR background, it was an easy transition. Before I was helping people figure out what's their right career path, organizations find their right talent. And now I'm helping people find their best dope art they can have to invest not only in themselves, but their families.
So dope. So dope. You know, you talk about investment and the fact that art really is an investment. Your gallery is deeply rooted in justice and community empowerment. How do you ensure through your work and curation that, you know, marginalized voices are amplified in the gallery, in the space?
Yeah, so there's a couple things. So Buckhead Art Company is located, no surprise, in Buckhead. Is the only art gallery in Buckhead called Buckhead. So you cannot miss us. And that was very intentional. I'm actually from Chicago and Atlanta. I did primary school and grammar school in Chicago, but I did high school here in Atlanta. And Buckhead has always been looked as a place that had wealth. It was a place that had promise and income. And it was a place that didn't look like the rest of Atlanta always. Mm-hmm. And so it was very intentional for me to want to put my gallery in Buckhead so that I could bring different types of people together and be able to have those conversations about art in a space that felt comfortable for all. And it's no surprise you can come to the gallery and find someone who is from Vietnam or someone who's from Sao Paulo, Brazil, or from Atlanta, all in the same space, learning about art in a place where they can find joy, in a place that is easy to learn, that feels like a community, and where it becomes accessible to them. And the gallery is mission-based, and so every time someone comes in to learn about art, or every time someone invests in themselves or our artists, we do use a portion of those sales to support marginalized artists who don't always have the available resources to do what they love best and to do what they do best, which is make art.
First, as an artist, as a lover of art, I want to thank you for that. You know, when I started painting, I talk about how prohibitive it can be from a cost perspective. You know, the materials aren't cheap. You know, someone told me the brushes you use, well, you can tell the quality of the work that the brushes you use. A shout out to my sister, Kristen Williams, an amazing artist in Chicago who put me on. And so you get a lot of talented young people who are using craft grade materials, but have a ton of talent. And, you know, you providing that definitely creates a space and creates a room for them to be in. You talked about joy, and I feel like I came to the space, y'all. Let me tell you, I'm going to do a shameless plug. It is so dope. It's so dope. You walk in and you know you're in a high-end art gallery, right? It's in Buckhead, so there's not really much in Buckhead. You know, for those of you that aren't familiar with Atlanta, think of Beverly Hills, the Magnificent Mile. And she's in the heart of it, Black woman owned in the heart of it. And it's music, the scent is good, the art on the wall is good, the aesthetic is good. You describe your gallery's mission as amplifying joy. When you think about your exhibits, how do you pick exhibits that really inspire both celebration and reflection?
Yeah. So for me, the most important thing when I think about exhibits, because there are there actually are a million on this planet, dope artists from all backgrounds, marginalized or not. It's about the purpose and the vision and what the artist wants everyone to take from that. What do they want them to learn? What do they want them to feel? And so to me, when I'm picking exhibits, it's about how does it make me feel? What do I think it'll do for our particular audience? And how will we inspire the next generation of collectors, investors that will amplify not only the particular artist who is there, but also people who've never thought about collecting art and never thought about not only having art in their home for enjoyment, but also having art in their home for investment. And we do a lot of proactive reach out to artists. And sometimes those artists are very, very well known, and sometimes they aren't as well known. And that's very purposeful. It's about what is your purpose? What are you doing for your community? Because it is a mission-based gallery. And we want to make sure that all of the art that we have is driven by the mission and purpose of the gallery.
A lot of my friends, as we started getting more of our ripe, more seasoned age of life, are collecting art as a investment vehicle. How do you engage our community that may not be aware of the opportunity to use art as an investment vehicle? How do you educate, our community?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Our community may not always know about the investment purposes of art, but they do like to have a good time. And so at Buckhead Art Company, we like to have a lot of events, and that's not necessarily the traditional way to sell art. Typically it's come in here into this quiet environment and just stare at this art piece. For us, that doesn't make it accessible to people. That's not necessarily how everyone receives information. Do we have traditional artist talks? Of course. Do we have a traditional art environment? Of course. But we also have wind downs and yoga and sound baths and all those different types of things where people come in and they say, oh, well, what is that? And we have our art curators there to explain what it is, to explain how to become a collector, to explain how to start their art collection in an environment that feels less recluse, in an environment that helps individuals feel more included and accessible, and in a language and an environment where they can actually receive the information. I think that's the most important part. A lot of times we talk at people versus teaching people and educating people and bringing them along, because most people would collect art if they knew the investment in it. It's the same investment you do as, the new culture is to take a look at the labels. What are you putting into your body? I always tell people, what are you hanging above your head? What materials did they use? What imagery are you seeing every night before you go to sleep or every day when you wake up, right? It's no different than that investment that you put in yourself when you think about, I don't eat whatever chemical you don't eat now. Your different food products, the reason why you became a vegan is the same reason why you collect art in your home.
It's interesting as you described it, and I got that vibe when I walked in. The gallery felt fun. It felt energizing. It felt, like a good time. And it's not lost on me either that, thinking about what Art Basel in Miami has now become from what it started as, is all about fun. So clearly, we're setting the trends with regard to how we think about art and innovation. Let's talk about you a little bit, because you're really involved, right? You do a lot in multiple leadership roles, your sorority. How do you balance the time between running the gallery and, does this work influence your approach to curation, all the other things you do?
Yeah, I don't. And I don't. Let's not get up here and pretend like I balance stuff. I don't balance anything. I think
we are not condoning not balance, y'all. Look, I'm the pot calling the kettle brown because
I'm tired. No, I think because I genuinely find joy in the work that I do, both professionally and in human resources and people and purpose, and then also in art curation and being a gallerist. There isn't what I would call a traditional balance, but it is a sense of joy, right? So if I'm tired because I'm doing something that I enjoy, that is something that I can accept and be thankful and grateful for. It's a different type of balance because I don't really want to balance it because I really like what I do and I love what I do. What I will say is the overlap between my professional world and what I would say the gallery, which is also a form of professional expression, is that I get to influence the next leaders. I get to influence how people see themselves and how people see other people. I get to influence the conversations in an environment that can feel neutral in a way. You know, there are certain things that I'm just not neutral on, full stop. And you won't see those types of things in a gallery, which is why I always tell people this gallery is for all. We accept all people who accept all people. What it does is allow us to have conversations in a space that is non-confrontational with people that we wouldn't normally see on a daily basis. And that's kind of what Buckhead is. You bring a lot of different people from a lot of different environments into the space to be able to learn and find joy with people they wouldn't normally speak with.
Speak to that. When you opened and acquired the gallery, was that, and I'm going to use the dirty D word that everybody is so scared of right now, was that kind of diversity something that you saw after, or did you feel like you had to build it in the way you structured the gallery?
A little of both. So when I acquired the gallery, I would say it was definitely diverse, but I would say there were areas that we weren't diverse in. Right now we have a few artists who have neurodivergent accessibility needs. We have artists who come from different marginalized communities, not necessarily just African-American communities or Latinx, Hispanic communities, but we have individuals who are descendants or were a part of apartheid or were or some other marginalized crisis around the world. So for me, it was about telling stories. The actual first exhibit I ever had that people were like, "Well, how did you get that exhibit like that?" The first exhibit I ever had was a Ukrainian exhibit where we were actually bringing 30 artists who unfortunately their galleries had been destroyed through the Ukrainian war that was going on and it continues to happen. And we brought them over to do an exhibit, and we worked with the Buckhead Alliance and the Buckhead Chamber of Commerce, and we did an exhibit to benefit them, and we were able to raise over $80,000 just for them to be able to have money and as well to be able to rebuild their galleries, be able to rebuild their wealth and those types of things. So it's really about, again, telling stories that we don't normally get to hear, also bringing people together around topics that they don't normally get to see, and using the art to tell those topics. Do we have a lot of collectors? Yes. Do we have a lot of corporate collectors and individual collectors? Yes. And the common thread is that they all want to do good.
Love it. Love it. So I'm all about practicality. I always ask guests to share some nuggets. So we've got folks out here who may want to be gallerists. If there was something that you could tell yourself when you started knowing what you know now, what would that be?
What would I tell myself? To trust your intuition. You don't have to know about every type of art, but you know what you like and you know what you feel drawn to. And just because there is an art form or an artist that is highly popular or an art form or an artist that is being received well, everyone can't promote and sell everyone. If it's not something that you feel personally connected to, you may not be the best person to represent that particular artist, regardless of how great that they are. It has to be a connection between you and your team. You can't tell someone's story that you don't believe in.
That's a nugget, y'all. That not just in art, like in life, you can't you can't sell someone's story you don't believe in. 5 years out, let's talk about it. What's your vision? Where are you? How do you see Buckhead Art Company evolving over the next 5 years?
Yeah, so Buckhead Art Company will, within the next 5 years, be expanding to many more cities and countries. The idea is that we go into spaces where the art scene is still emerging and there's a burning desire to have a place of luxury that celebrates not only marginalized individuals, but individuals that just want to learn about art and want to become collectors and learn about wealth. And in places where the art scene just has not fully developed, where they're either teenagers or grammar school individuals in terms of their maturity in the art world. And so you'll see us popping up in the Southeast, Africa, India, and APAC.
Let's go. Let's talk about legacy and impact. Looking back over your journey, what's been the most rewarding moment so far? And, what are you looking most forward to besides this global takeover that's coming?
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you. So I think people forget because we put a little bit of a footprint out here and people are starting to feel like we're their long lost cousins. So they come around a lot. But we've only been here for about 18 months, not even full 2 years. So we're still a toddler. And for me, some of the most rewarding experiences is that in this short amount of time, a little bit over 18 months, we've had at least 6 artists been able to go out and be full-time artists from being part-time artists. And to me, whether I'm in my professional world from an HR perspective or my gallery world, which is my passion world, my love world, connecting people to be able to do what they love best full time is my joy. And so to be able to create a platform and the infrastructure for my artists to be able to be artists full time and not artists by night, but this by day and that by evening is always the goal. That means that they're selling and they have the ability to focus on what they do best and what brings them the best joy.
I love it. I love it. So tell people how they can find you. Where can we find you, see the work, find the gallery?
Yes, you can find us at 288 Buckhead Ave and 286 Buckhead Ave because we have 2 spaces over there. And you can find us at Buckhead Art and Company on all platforms. So TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. And you can find me at Beautifully Karimah because I'm always going to be just that. Just myself, Beautifully Karimah.
Look, first, I got to say thank you. I love the space. I'm encouraging all of you to follow them. Check it out. If you're not in town, if you're in Chicago, wherever you're, a lot of people watching from all over, go visit. Check it out. It's funny because I'd walked past the gallery on accident before I realized I had met the owner randomly at dinner when she was having dinner with another friend of mine. And we had connected then, added each other, talking about artwork. And I knew that, walked in the space and space is dope. And so I just want to thank you because I think, again, part of the reason I'm doing this, is to highlight folks that are really pursuing heart and hustle across the country, but also like making it real to the young people who follow me can see this as well. To see a young Black woman doing great, fly, dressed the whole part, and, living in a world that we're typically not leading in, and leading in it is outstanding. I mean, I'm going to gas you up. She's had events for the mayor and for stars. It's been on television. It's been on film. Like, I'm not making this up. It's one of the best galleries in the country, and really excited to, be able to feature today. So, thank you. Thank you for sharing your journey, your experience. Thank you for creating voices for underrepresented artists. Thank you for creating a space for us right now where I think more than ever before, it's very critical. And thank you for your insight and your vision.
Thank you.
To our listeners, whether you're an artist, a change maker, or just someone looking to find your space in the world, let this be a reminder that the work you do matters. Believe in yourself. I'll catch you next time, and keep watching Heart and Hustle. Thank you.